Pineapple juice to go along in there with it. And a little pureed pineapple. You can use fresh pineapple. You can use out of a can. If you use out of a can, that's actually for me the more preferable way, because you already have your pineapple already sliced for you, and it comes conveniently packed in the juice, which you also want to use. The puree, if you have a Roku food processor at all, you can use that to puree it up. If you don't, your normal household blender will work just fine. I always like to preheat my saute pans for cooking my salmon so that I get a nice golden caramelization on the outside, and it locks in all the freshness and juices of fish. That being said, grab a glove. Before I grab my fish so that I don't contaminate the rest of my food with whatever could be on the fish. You never know, so it's always best just to play it safe. So, I like using a little bit of canola oil when I do my cooking. It's nice and light. It has a high temperature level, and it's not going to burn too easily. So let's get all that nice and going in there.
Let's do that.
And then while that is going along, I'm going to get my garlic and ginger that I put in my bourbon glaze. I'm going to get that going. One of my favorite peelers ever is this little palm peeler that you can pick up most kitchen places. I believe I picked this one up at Ace for less than $5. And I like it a lot better than your traditional peeler, because if you're sitting there peeling a lot of potatoes or carrots or a good volume amount of vegetables, you can get a little cramp in your hand. This completely alleviates and eliminates that. And it just glides nicely. And I really like using it. I am using Atlantic salmon. It is fresh, locally farm raised in British Columbia. I prefer using fresh salmon over frozen salmon. When the fish freezes, it can the ice particles will form, and they'll rip the meat of the fish apart, make it very difficult to work with, and it's a little unsightly, and I really just don't like using it. I just try and do a little research on whatever fisheries my fish is coming from, and kind of see what they're feeding the fish, how they're holding them.
Luke, with the different species of salmon, a good point between coho and king and chum, which might be a little. Hello.
I believe this one that I'm using is a silver.
Okay, the question I had before my mic went dead. Different species of salmon we have around here, some are more oily. Will this work with any of those salmon? Have you tried it like with chum and coho and the sockeye?
Yes, this will work with any of the salmon. Honestly, It's going to come down to the personal preferences of whether you want wild, whether you want farms, whether you want coho, whether you want, Chinook, any of your varieties. That's going to come down to just straight up personal preference. Now I'm going to mince up the ginger, and I'm also going to mince up a little garlic to go in our base here and simmer away with it. One of my favorite knives to use is a ceramic knife. When you work in a restaurant,